All right, traders, so watch this video for Wednesday, August 1st. We got July in the books. Low volume summer trading, pretty narrow range on the SPY today. But, you know, I'm staying on the, I've got the standing desk up almost all session long every day and using my treadmill that goes with it. And it's helping me keep in darn good shape. I said, one of these days, I'm going to be on the cover of Traders Fitness magazine, if there is such a thing. Because, you know, I'm trying to stay in front of the screens, showing you a few member comments here, trying to stay in front of the screens during this slow time because, you know, the setups are kind of few and far between, but you hate to walk away and miss one of the sparse opportunities out there. So really trying to stay in front of the screen. So I'm averaging like 5-6 miles every day on the treadmill, so getting really fit. Let's go into the watch list for tomorrow. So, okay, I feel a little silly with this stock on here, right? Because it's so manipulated and so insane that it made this move from 221 straight up for 4 days, and then the next day, this actually, by the way, hit like 36 in pre-market this day, which would have been yesterday. Hit 36 before coming down in pre-market, made it all the way down to like 6, and then today at one point hit 330. So it's a bizarre chart. You know, it reminds people of dry ships or some of these other crazy ones, but it absolutely should be on a chart, because if this thing can, I don't know, trade in a narrow range and give one of our low risk intraday setups, you might get a quick 50 cents, $1, $2 bounce on the thing. So even though it's bizarre, manipulated, and it's kind of become a joke, I'm still going to watch it. All right. GDS, 4, 1, 2, 3. Today's like the 4th day down in a row. I thought I heard on Benzinga that somebody gave it a 0 price target today. I don't know if that if their proof is justified, or if they've actually got a story behind whoever came out with that. And I don't really care. As a trader, this thing's way ahead of itself to the downside. You can see back here in January, it bounced off of 20. And actually, a lot of times when something has a huge day down and it takes out a recent low, I usually look for a bounce below that. And that's exactly what happened today. Now, I wasn't watching this one, but a lot of times, as a little tip, I'll look for that support to break. If it's already got a huge candle on the day, you look down below that support, you usually get a nice snapback. So, and again, I'm not trying to intimate that I did that, because I didn't, but I am going to put this on Bounce Watch tomorrow. Remember, you kind of have to, in this low volume summer trading, you kind of have to go to the outliers, the ones that are getting crazy volume and kind of making weird moves if you want to get some kind of trade setups. SYF, I'm not in love with this. It's just another red day. Kind of had some support back here from September, but it's gotten there in a hurry. It didn't give any triggers today, so it just goes back on Bounce Watch tomorrow. Same with Take Two, TTWO. I thought I was hoping it would hit the 200 day today, and I would look for a bounce there. You know, we'll see. The 200 day or the 110 area from back here are interesting to me, and it's pretty beaten up, because like 4 or 5 sessions ago, this thing was almost 130 bucks, and you know, if it gets down to 110, that's a pretty good sell-off and a pretty good place to look for a bounce. VMC. Also kind of getting that downside shape. I like it if it can get below that 110 area tomorrow for a potential bounce. Big volume today. It's way ahead of itself to the downside, and pretty buyable in my opinion down here at 110 or below, anywhere in this area, but only with a proper intraday setup. I don't know how it's going to trade, and I never take anything blindly, and I don't buy on the way down. So you know, I always have a stop in place, and it's really important. Oh, speaking of which, there's one more slide I meant to share. I actually tweeted this today. If you ever take a trading course, I thought this was worth addressing, especially because if you go on Twitter, it's not that hard to find people that are blowing up their accounts right and left this summer, and there's no reason for that. There's no reason for that. You can't, if anything, I'm not the best trader in the world, but if anything, that I think I'm better than 95%, maybe 98% of people out there, is not blowing up my account. It's trading defense first, because it took me years to figure it out, but I understand now that you can't be a professional day trader, and you can't stay in it for the long term if you ever risk blowing up your account. So I said this the other day. I generally don't ever post huge gains on social media, because I don't generally have huge gains, but I also don't post huge losses, right? I'm just grinding my account higher day after day, and that's the way you're supposed to do it. So anyway, this tweet was about what you should look for in a course. And I think there's some important lessons there. I don't really feel like reading them all, but these are things that we can absolutely teach in our course. So just gander at them real quick. But, you know, when you read over those, you might, some other, how do I word it? Guru, or what do they call them? Furus, you know, might come to mind. Somebody that you've been in their chat room. Some of these might ring a bell. All right. So read over those because, you know, you should never, well, you should just learn from this list. You should learn from this list. You should never, my favorite one is to never buy a stock right at the open. And anybody teaching you to buy a stock, I'm talking like the opening print, they're not looking out for you. It's not a strategy for a long or a short. Doesn't matter what your bias is. Buying at the open is a terrible thing to teach a new trader. It's just terrible. So anyway, I got sidetracked. So VMC, I like as a potential bounce down in this area. Told myself I was going to make a quick video today, and I started babbling. ADOM has some big spikes back here. Another one here. You know, decent volume back here, and it's kind of tailing along. It's kind of trying to break back out, and it's got you know, nice support below and decent volume today for this stock. So I'm going to see if this gives a follow-through setup tomorrow. Electronic Arts, EA, goes back on watch. I was looking at this as a potential bounce play today. I never did catch an entry in it, but a nice strong close. I really like it over today's high. It topped out basically right at 129. And a lot of times through a whole number, you can get a nice trade. So we'll see if it gives any kind of setup right around 129 tomorrow. A couple more. CLF had this huge move and it's really kind of flagging. I love it over 11 because you had this high back here of 1144 and then a very clean lower high right at 11 with 1099 actually. So I like this through 11, so I'm going to keep our eyes on that one too. And then AYTU, it's my last one. Nice volume today and closing fairly strong. I mean, off of its highs, but certainly worth watching for a follow-through day. Check the links down below. We've got a very special offer on the lifetime membership in our chat room, that just means one payment and you're a lifer, as we like to call them. Ton of lifers in our room. There's also a link to our free webinars. A lot of good free content. Summertime is a good time to study, so check that out as well. And I'm going to quit babbling. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a good night.